has that power. You can keep Johnson in Washington, D.C., or you can send him back to his Texas cotton patch. You're the one who sent Kennedy to Washington. You're the one who put the present Democratic administration in Washington, D.C. The whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House. When you see this, you can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republicans. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. Skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day. While the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor, he was telling you to build your own house.
Woo-hoo! Welcome. It's Thursday night. It's an OPC show. We're a little bit behind. Trying to get back on that 7:30 schedule, but I may have to push it back to 8 like we had been, because black man with his own business, RPC Computing in Chicago, Illinois, South Shore area. Look us up, because this ain't the show that I'm going to be putting all that info out. But RPC Computing, South Shore, Chicago, look it up. You can find the information. Welcome. We back here. We back at it. And it's probably going to be a short discussion, but, what's the hot topic? The debates, who you voting for, who you not voting for, and I'm just going to give my take. And my take is, if you're over there on the Facebook side, you can switch over. There's a link out there. You click that. Come over to the YouTube page. Hit subscribe. Hit that notification button. And when we go live, you will be notified. And it's just as simple as getting on Facebook. If you got YouTube on your phone, you get that notification. Boom. You right in. What we got going on here is not a failure to communicate, but who we trying to relate to. Name of the show tonight is Who You Really Voting For, Black People. And I'm just going to give my take, and that's, I may let some call-ins come in. What's up, sis? See you out there, love you. Right now, they got two options on the table. You got Biden, Harris, and you got Trump, Pence. They all been on some dirt. Sometimes it comes down to the moral picture I see. So when I see Donald Trump, I see a long history of racist behavior, not only from him, but from his family, his father, and the way they act toward black people. Trying to do this web capture thing here. Of course, why would it work now when we want it to work, right? It's always something, people. Sorry about that. Well, we're just going to keep talking about it anyway. That there was a long history with Donald Trump and his father doing things. I wanted to show it to you on the page, but for whatever reason, the devil says, no, don't expose me. But we got to expose it anyway. Give me 1 second here. Get me back on camera. Let's just go down a few things with Donald Trump and his daddy. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice, under the Nixon administration, sued Trump Management Corporation for violating the Fair Housing Act. They found evidence that the Trumps had refused to rent to black tenants, lied to blacks about their applications, so on and so on, and this man got on TV and said, we paid the fine. 1980, at Trump's castle, he was accused of business discriminations in the casinos, and he would order all the black people off the floor. Okay, you niggas, y'all got to get off the floor. We got ballers coming in here, white people, and they don't want to see no blacks. In, what was that, in 1989, I think that was the rape of the jogger in Central Park. He took out ads in newspapers, tried to get these kids the death penalty. And these kids were found innocent. And he was like, oh, well, I felt at the time I was doing the right thing. This is your current president. Nothing he does shocks anybody. Even on his show, when he had the black contestant, well, he had a few black contestants that, he clowned. I think it was one, it was a black contestant, and he talked about him being overeducated on TV. Said, you're an unbelievably talented guy in terms of education, but you haven't done anything. Then it was the other black guy that won, and he was like, well, don't you think you should share that with the white person over here? He's immoral in business. He's immoral in life. He's grabbing coochies. all this. So he's outwardly immoral, and maybe that just bothers me that he has the nerve to, well, he says what he wants to say and he gets away with it. So, and that just leads me back to when people want you to choose the teams, like there's 160 white people in America. There's only 44 million black people, and then the rest are listed as others. So as Malcolm says in the clip, the white people usually are divided down the middle. So that leaves room for any block of minorities to come in and make some demands and get some things done. What we have failed to do time and time again. We're not arguing over who's the best white man, because none of them have talked about reparations for black people. Seriously. I mean, Donald Trump threw out a number like $500 billion, which is trillions of dollars less than what we deserve. Some blacks are entertaining that, like, oh, let me look at that $500 billion. That doesn't cover anything. It doesn't give us any foundation to grow on. And the way that it was worded, it was more like I'll loan you all some money to get on your feet, and then I'll screw you out of that. Kind of like what he did as he touts doing everything for black universities, and then if you scroll down in the program down to like number 12, he's actually hiding other bills inside that bill that benefit rich people. I got a problem with immoral people. I just do. Call me crazy. So he can never get my vote. Never. But I got to make a choice. A lot of people saying, well, I'm just going to bypass voting for the president. I'm going to vote for everything else. Okay, you do that. I don't want to see you on no social programs or even in any discussions involving whoever becomes the president, because that's what it means. You have volunteered not to be a part of anything. So I accept your resignation out of the discussion. Biden been in politics 47 years. He signed off on a whole lot of fuckery during this time. But he's not the only one. Everybody acts like, you know, when the Clinton crime bill came out, that was the first time for a crime bill. No, they had many occurrences of different crime bills to keep blacks in their place. You got to remember, the government was fighting us in the streets, beating us, water hoses, dogs, all that, just fighting. And so when the Black Panthers came about and decided that they wanted to carry their guns, one of the first things they changed, it was called the Mulford Act of 1967. And it repealed the law allowing the public carrying of loaded firearms. And it was named after Republican Assemblyman Don Mulford. Going from 1967, let's move on to 1968. Hold on, I want to make sure I get them out. 1968 crime bill was called the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Acts of 1968. Now, this was supposed to be designed to increase the effectiveness and fairness and coordination of law enforcement and criminal justice systems at all levels of government, making sure that they could lock your ass up, throw away the key. All the law enforcement now is working together. Prosecutors, police officers, judges. People see where this is going? So then we move up to Reagan, because in 1984, Reagan had a crime bill also. Trying to make sure I get them all. 1980, it was called the Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1984. This was Reagan's crime bill. Establishes a mandatory release condition that the person not commit a federal, state, or local crime during release. This is kind of like the probation system. They let you out on probation, but you got all this paperwork sitting out there that says you commit any type of crimes, you're going to come and you're going to do the full term. So say you were looking at 10 and they gave you probation. They let you out and they said, we're letting you out after a year or two, and then you're going to be on probation for the next 7 years. Now, anything you do, no matter if you have become a productive citizen or not, got you a job, got your family together, then say one day you out here fighting in the streets, kind of like when Suge Knight jumped into the fight at the hotel with Tupac now. Now you got to go do all this time, baby. At the same time, most of them are not falling under these. These are not affecting white kids and people as much as it affects black kids, because they can afford attorneys and things like that to get you out. So that's 1984. Then we move to 1994, which is the Bill Clinton control bill. It's called the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994. Biden signed off on this, spoke highly of it with President Clinton. Everybody, blacks, we were loving President Clinton. He was locking us up, playing the saxophone like the Pied Piper. Made a lot of money during the Clinton years. I had to say, since I've been alive, all the presidents I've been under, I actually was making money during the Clinton years. Can't say that about no other president, really. So I guess that was my 8 years to thrive. But they were putting people in jail. It was the largest crime bill in the history of the United States. It consisted of 356 pages that provided 100,000 new police officers, $9.7 billion in funding for prisons, and $6.1 billion in funding for prevention programs, which were designed with significant input from experienced police officers. That was 1994. Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. That was her job, to prosecute. That's what they do. They put people in positions and they already know how the game's going to go. You ain't got no money, you're going to have a problem. A lot of white folks will come in. They got a house or something they could put up. Their son doesn't have to sit in jail because they don't have $100 to get you out. Or they can't come up with $500 to get you out. We're saying all this, and we're looking at both sides of the coin. On one side, you got a racist. On the other side, you got a politician. And on both sides, they screwed us over. But you got to vote for one of them, just so you can stay in the conversation, just so we can stay in the conversation. Because the first thing politicians say to you when you walk up, okay, did you vote? Then you say, did you vote for me? And you can say, no. Okay, well, why would I even be talking to you? You don't even vote. You don't even care about your people or your constituents because you didn't vote. Even though we know the game is crappy and it's set up for you to lose, you got to put your bet in to lose. So we got to vote for one of them. It's to, the reason I vote is because I look at that as paying respect to the people that died for us to have this opportunity. For the people that died trying to get people registered to vote and all this other type of stuff. And you can cry, and continue to cry. But until we, like at the beginning of every show, it says build our own house. This is what we get to do. You get to vote for these people until we raise our own politicians, till we build our own house, till we build our own foundation. And there's only one thing any politician can do for me. That's open up that checkbook and write us a check for reparations. And it's in the trillions of dollars. When I did my calculation, I came up with about $3.8 trillion. That's the starting point. That's just to, create the foundation. We want free education. I don't want people just to get money and call it reparations. We want land. We want the ability to control our own economics. It's all the stuff that we've been saying for the last 100 so years in this country. We don't want to fight to be underneath you all and follow your rules and all this. I was talking on the last show about China moving into Africa. There's 1 million Chinese in Africa now. Guaranteed in 2 years, there'll be 3 to 4 million Chinese in Africa. So they're going to move into our legacy because they got the money to do it. We ain't got the money to do it. Neither do we want to do it. We enjoy the nonsense of America. But Mr. Chan, the Chinese man, told me, y'all the only ones that fight to stand on your oppressor. Break me off right, I'm moving to Africa. Set up shop there. Because that's going to be an issue in a few years. I don't care what they're bringing. They're destroying the local economics, pushing people out of business that had their own little African businesses going. They're moving people out saying, well, this is in the name of progress. And they have some leaders that are there working with them. But the whole scam is they want the oil. They want the resources. They want to be able to come into Africa and do agricultural work and grow food for their people. And they're doing it all under the pretense of, here's some hospitals, here's a transportation system, here's this. We're going to give you economics, and you can be just like your brothers in America. You can be oppressed, and you can work for us because we see how they do in America, and they love being under the white man. Why can't you be under the Chinese man? Forget about your heritage. I'm going to keep my heritage, of course, because I'm Chinese. So my stuff's going to stay intact. But you don't care about yourself. You don't care about your people. You don't even know what unity is. You don't even know how to tell people, this is my brother, and I want my brother to be successful like I am. We have the same beliefs. You don't believe like your brother believes. But me, the Asian man, I believe in my brother, and I'm going to work with him, and we'll come in, and we'll do whatever we got to do to take over your heritage. Because you don't care about it. You ain't trying to get back here. You're not trying to come over here. I bet you if the government gave you everything you asked for, you still wouldn't bring your black ass over here and set anything up and try to have anything with your people. Because that's what slavery does. It destroys you mentally, spiritually. So I don't really care about politics. I think the politics is the worst thing in America for the black man because it's our weakest leg. Because no matter how hard we try, how long we try, we always come up short. But you got all these people trying to push you toward this and this and this. So voting is a political thing. But politics control people and resources. And if you don't vote, then you've given up your right to the resources and the people that might can help you. So we got to take that leg and wrap it up with ace bandages and put a crutch in it and hobble on through with it. But at the same time, we got to be changing our mindsets, changing our direction. We got to start looking at things differently and stop bickering over the nonsense. Basically, we got to get our shit together. I get tired of talking about white people. It's been the best couple of years of my life that I don't have to sit here in an office space and capitulate to the services of these people when I know they mean me no good. That I'm trapped in a system I can't win in. There is no win. But people are trying to convince you, well, this is a win. If you vote for this person, this is going to be a win. I don't have that thought in my mind that Biden-Harris is a win. Now, it might be an avenue that we can follow that says it's their reparations at the end of this rainbow. Because it's definitely not at the end of the Trump-Pence rainbow. And what I keep telling everybody is, think it's a game. Go ahead and vote for Trump and Pence. The man's already got on TV multiple times and says he's waiting to shut all this shit down in the street. Think it's a game. This dude don't give a fuck, as they say. You see this with this whole handling of the pandemic. Go back and look at my shows. I said way back then how dangerous it was. I'm not even the president. I got a warning from some friends in China. But your president failed to move, and then he's right on TV after having a super spreader event, getting the best of care that most people will never see, will never have 24-hour doctors on hand with the best equipment. And then he gets his monkey butt on TV, takes the mask off again, goes in the White House. So he doesn't care about anybody there, like he's cured. And he'll be on TV next week acting like he's cured, like he's done something. And you'll see all these Christian yahoos and everybody that will be out there praising him. But I tell everybody, I said, I'm not shocked. Biblically, we are taught a third of the angels fell with the devil. They were sitting right there with God, seeing all God's glory and grace, and they still fell. And it could be the same again. Do I want Donald Trump to win? Hell no. Am I voting for Donald Trump? Hell no. There's no leverage. People talking about, well, you can leverage this. There's no leverage for you right now. The leverage is Biden, Harris, Trump, Pence. They're not about to give you shit at this point in the game. They're going to sit there, talk a little bit, yah, and then keep on like they keep on. First day of class, 1983, Illinois State University, Political Science 101. Don't bring your morals into politics because they just gonna get dirty, sir. This game is about washing each other's hands and watching each other's back. So you don't get nothing done in politics without greasing some wheels and without giving up something. That's the way the game goes. That's the way it's played. And they was playing the game way before they allowed us into the game because we were part of that game when it just started getting good. We were pawns in the game. So when Lincoln freed us, those were political moves that he was trying to unify the country. So 1862, to get a lot of these votes and everything that he needed to pull that, I'm going to give away, let's give away 220 million acres of land to free people. They really didn't even own the land. They just said, we're going to give it away anyway. We didn't get free to 1863. I mean, that's when the Emancipation Proclamation came out. But the official end of the Civil War was April 12th, 1865, I believe. Like almost 100 years to the date of my birth, April 16th, 1965. And we've been struggling ever since. It's 160 years. And every 4 years, we get to elect a new president. And we get to repeat the cycle and repeat the cycle and repeat the cycle. And it almost seems like we just keep going down the rabbit hole. I'm a vote. Not voting for Trump. I may have to swallow it and vote for Biden. So I have the right to talk to Biden. So I have the right to talk about Biden. Because I don't want to hear nothing from anybody that doesn't vote at all. I don't want to hear your mouth. Zip it. You've said you don't give a F. And since you don't give a F, shut the fuck up. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
Do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
Now, if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out. You got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide if you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you wanna be saved. Motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.
Straight bullshit, and you full of shit. Full of straight shit.
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
If you just listen,
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
you were getting a warning. Until now, you're going to jail.
I'm getting it. So what?